Hello, everyone. It is time for another hockey season, which is just right there upon us, 2 days away. This is Pucks and Brews. I am your host, Michael Shades Sparacino, alongside, as always, the incomparable, the legendary Liam the Shellmaster Gottimer. Liam, what's up?
Nothing much, man. Been playing NHL 26 ever since it came out, been grinding. Um, can't say I've gotten better than last year. I'm like a hockey player, I'm not aging gracefully, let's just say, like I'm in my 30s now when it comes to my shell game. And these young kids, they're schooling me. So might have to change the nickname, but we'll see. We'll see if I still got it. But I'm doing well, Shades. I mean, it's been great. It's good to be back with you. I mean, the NHL season is right around the corner, as you said. We're recording on Sunday. Rangers open up on Tuesday night against the Penguins. It's going to be awesome, and I can't wait, especially since baseball and football season have depressed the hell out of both of us.
Yeah, yeah, we're Jets fans, and they suck.
Yeah. I'm a big Mets fan as well. Shades has some ties with the Mets too, and
I
yeah,
get a paycheck from them.
yeah. And the Yankees are down 11-0. I mean, I'm happy about that personally, but hey, as a New Yorker, like I like seeing New Yorkers happy. But yeah, hockey season, we're here. Thank God. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, big changes this year, too. I mean, I joined a bowling league for the first time in 4 years. I got a haircut.
Nice. Yeah, I was about to say the hairdo looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It,
I do too.
I've been getting a lot of compliments about the hair, and
Yeah.
I also just want that one person to be like, man, I missed the long hair. Still waiting for it.
It's not going to be me.
No, of
I
course not.
I I really enjoy like a little bit of a change of pace. Switch it up. Maybe next week you just shave the whole beard.
I
You'll
do need to trim this. Yeah,
oh, okay.
I gotta bust out the new razor because my old one died, and I'm like, of course,
Yeah,
literally, like out of nowhere. But whatever.
it happens.
Yeah, kind of like the Jets sucking. Like we know it's gonna happen at some point. We just don't expect it to be as bad or the timing to be as bad. But yeah.
Yeah.
The Jets are ruining my life. You know how Steve Dangle says the Maple Leafs are ruining his life? Yeah, the Jets are ruining my will to be a sports fan. So,
I don't even watch, you
yeah,
know.
you're better off, honestly.
I mean, the glimpses that I've seen this season, it's been disappointing,
It,
but turn the page.
yeah, it's been pretty rough. I have to watch so many fumbles. It's all right, let's get into hockey before I go on a fucking rant. Anyway, so like we said, the hockey season is upon us, and we already had one major announcement from one player going into the season. Anze Kopitar has announced that he will be retiring at the end of the 2025-26 season. Is he headed for the Hall of Fame? I say yes.
I think so too. I think he's the best Slovenian player of all time, I would argue. And, I would have to pull up the list of Slovenians in NHL history. But he's 38 years old. He's played his entire NHL career with the same team and the Los Angeles Kings. First round pick, again, like a really good example of how to be on and off the ice. Never gets himself into any trouble. Multiple Stanley Cups in 2011, 2012, and 2013, 2014. Um, this is one of the best two-way centermen that our eyes are ever going to be laid on. And he's a Hall of Famer, in my opinion. Um, I think it's good that he got out ahead of it before the season started to say that this will be my last season. So that fans and teams can give him the recognition that he most certainly deserves. It's been a long career for him. He debuted in the NHL in 2006, and he ends his career in 2025, 2026. So the end of a 20-year career for Anze Kopitar. And in my opinion, he is a Hall of Famer. When you combine what he's been able to produce offensively, defensively, what he's meant to the center position during uh, this overall stage of hockey that we're in, and then you add the two Stanley Cups on top of that. Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer to answer your question. So, congratulations to Anze on an amazing career.
Yeah, congrats. I just wish we weren't on the other side of history in 2014. But yeah, I'm never gonna get over that.
And just on that note, Shades, Anze Kopitar played in 26 playoff games that year when the Kings won their second Stanley Cup. He had 5 goals, 21 assists. He was a point per game, 26 points in 26 games. He was a plus 14. I mean, when you look at runs, from specific players on teams that have won Stanley Cup championships. You look at that 2013, 2014 year, 26 points in 20 games and 26 games. And you even looked at 2011, 2012. He had 20 points in 20 games. 2 years he won a Stanley Cup as a point per game player in the playoffs. So um, that should tell you what kind of player Anze Kopitar is. Just a legend. Just a legend.
Yep, pretty much. And yeah, no, seriously, once again, congrats to him on a great career. If only the Rangers could have somebody of his caliber for 20 years.
Right.
But oh well.
And I will say this about Kopitar as well. It's not like he lit up the score sheet every single year. Kopitar was one of those players that did things that did not show up on the score sheet. He only had one season in his career with more than 80 points. 2 seasons in his career with more than 80 points. And one year was 2009, 2010, and the next year was 2017, 2018, where he had a career year and 92 points. So he has just proven to be impactful all three areas of the ice. Again, I wish it didn't come at our expense, but a really, really good hockey player. And again, he's still doing good for his team, right? The Kings are still competitive. Quinton Byfield was just drafted inside the top three just a few years ago. And Kopitar, I could imagine, has been just an absolutely amazing mentor for Byfield. So um, he is valuable in every sense of the word to his team. That's what I'd say.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now, speaking of, players and teams, we're just going to get basically right into it this, this year for this episode. Instead of taking 2.5 hours this year, we're going to do our season predictions. And by that, as always, we mean, oh yeah, I don't even have a coffee today because we literally were doing this last minute. Because I was just like, hey, Liam, I actually am free from 5:30 to 7:30. We're recording. And you're just like, sweet, works for me. And I'm
Yeah.
like, thank God. So,
No plans today,
well, I
besides.
mean earlier and later, but thank God this space opened up.
Yes, right on.
So we will be doing an 8 through 1 or 1 through 8, depending on whichever way we do it for each division. And well, let's just start right off in the Eastern Conference because why not? Let's do the Atlantic Division. So now, the Panthers threw everyone for a loop with Barkov going down with a season-ending ACL and I believe MCL tear. Matthew Tkachuk is also going to be out with abductor surgery for the next couple months. So immediately, like a week and a half ago, I guarantee you all of our predictions would have looked different. But yeah, they're definitely not finishing first. That's all I can say about them.
Yeah, the Barkov injury definitely does hurt their chances this year, and what's going to be again another competitive year for the Atlantic. So
Yeah, so let's start off at number 8. I'm going to be kind of an asshole here and say the Bruins are going to finish last in the division.
I'm going to agree with you. They finished last in the division last season. They really took an expected downturn. I believe that we both predicted in last year's season prediction episode. So I have them finishing eighth. They had 76 points last year. I wouldn't be surprised if they're in that 76 to 82 point range this season.
All right, number 7. As much as I want to give this team credit, to also don't mind me looking down. I'm just noting everything down. As much as I want to give this team credit, I just can't because they're literally a team. They have a bunch of good players, but the rest of the roster is just horrendous, and that would be the Detroit Red Wings. I can't put them any higher than that, but I also don't think they're the worst team in that division.
I hear where you're coming from. They did acquire John Gibson in the offseason, but I think it may be a few years too late to acquire Gibson. But at my 7th spot, I do not have Detroit and I do not have Buffalo. I have Montreal. I wouldn't be surprised if Marty St. Louis. I like Marty St. Louis as a coach, but I wouldn't be surprised if they have a little bit of a tough start to the year. If maybe they look at him. I think there are a lot of good young players on the squad, but I just don't think that they're ready to make that next step. They did make the playoffs last year, and I think that was a little bit more of an anomaly than a sign of things to come. So, Boston 8, Montreal 7.
Okay, going off the Canadians, I think they're going to finish sixth in this division because of one thing you just said. One, I do think that they did overachieve a little bit last year. And also, I just don't think, I think Ottawa is ahead of them in the rebuild, and the Sabres are like right on the cusp of being a playoff team, but the Sabres. So I just think the Canadians are in that spot where they're an ascending team, but they're not there yet to be a perennial contender.
Well said. I agree. In my six spot shades, I have the Detroit Red Wings. Like you said, I think they're a team that year in and year out, I know they've been going through a little bit of a rebuild or a retool, getting younger, but then they bring in Patrick Kane and some veterans like Andrew Kopp. They've just underachieved year after year. And again, until they take that next step, I cannot pencil them in for a playoff spot. So I have them finishing sixth, exactly where they finished last year.
Just to expand on the Red Wings real quick, I heard something from Steve Dangle's podcast about he being Yzerman wanted to do more of a tear down, full on rebuild than what Detroit has done, but Detroit management was just like, "Hey, we're building a new building soon. We want playoff games." So he kind of got stuck in a bad spot.
I could see it for sure.
Number five, Buffalo Sabres.
There you go.
Like I said, they still got some work to do, but it's also the Sabres. So until they make the playoffs, I will predict that they miss the playoffs.
Again, that was the same mentality I had with Detroit, so I can't really argue with it to be honest. But in my five spot, this is going to be tough. And you touched on Montreal, right? About a team that overachieved last year and that made the playoffs, and that you don't know if they're ready to be a perennial playoff team. And that's why I'm putting Ottawa at five in this division. So they had 97 points last year. Of course, they get bounced by the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think they overachieved. I think that they'll be in the mix for the wild card, but I can't pencil them in any higher than fifth right now.
Okay, interesting because you're gonna hate me for this one. So I have the Panthers in fifth in that division. I still think they're gonna make the playoffs, but I have them penciled in as a wild card team. This is a flip-flop between 4 and 5, and I'm going with five.
Hey,
Or excuse me, 4.
I'm not going to get caught again. I know things with Florida are different this time around because Kachuk first half of the season, right? His availability is definitely uncertain. Barkov, like you mentioned, ACL, MCL injury, but I got to give the champs that respect. So I'm going to put Tampa at my four. We don't really know what's going on with Andrei Vasilevsky right now. Every team that goes and wins multiple Stanley Cups, they have that time where they go through their struggles. I love John Cooper as a coach. I always will. I think he is one of the best, if not the best coach in the National Hockey League. I still think that they will make the playoffs, but I don't think they're slated for a top three finish in this division. So I'm going to have them at fourth.
All right. 3, Ottawa Senators. I just think with the way that the Canadians aren't ready, where the Red Wings are, where the Bruins are, where the Panthers now are, I just think they sneak into a division spot and grab that third spot behind the other two teams left.
You have a sneaky team coming in and taking that third spot, and I'm the same way. I'm predicting Buffalo to make that jump, and I think it's going to happen this year. Now, do any of the offseason moves really lend to think that we're going to have a significant change from what we saw last year? Perhaps not. But I think Buffalo, they've been on the cusp for years now, and you always have a few outliers at the end of the season, a couple of teams that you just did not expect to make the jump that they did. So I'm going to be bold here, and I'm going to say that the Sabres finish in the top three, and finally, there will be playoff games at KeyBank Center again. So
All right, in my 2 spot, Tampa Bay Lightning. I just think they're still a good team, still a very good regular season team.
mhm.
I just don't see them winning the division.
Yep. At my two spot, I have the Florida Panthers. Of course, they won the Stanley Cup last year. I think Kachuk is going to come back midway through the year. I think it's going to be a big boost for them. Obviously, no Alexander Barkov this year. So Sam Bennett's going to have to play in the middle on that first line. It's going to be interesting just to see how their depth is. But don't forget that this team re-signed Aaron Ekblad in the offseason after winning the Cup. They re-signed Brad Marchand as well. So while you could say losing Barkov is a big deal, I think it'll take them away from a division title, but I don't think it's going to take them away from a top three finish. So Florida finishing second in the Atlantic for me.
All right, and that is our predictions for the Atlantic Division, just so this can focus and I can actually show something this year.
There you
Instead,
go.
instead of screen sharing, I'm doing it this way. So that is what we have. And unlike last season, where I forgot to go back and double check everything, uh, you just, double checked me there, making sure everything was right. So we will go back at the end of the season just to see how wrong we were.
And just to give a little bit of a take just on why I have Toronto in that number one spot. Of course, they lose Mitch Marner, right? You're losing a 90 plus point player. But a lot of the moves that they made, I'm really a fan of. I think the goaltending is going to be a little bit of a question mark. They just extended Anthony Stolarz, which I believe is very good for them. Um, again, I think sometimes you can get better by letting go of some players that may have been a part in holding you back. And I'm not saying Mitch Marner was a part of that, but maybe the combination of the top line forwards that the Leafs have put in and year out just didn't work. So they switched it up. They focused a little bit more on depth, and I think it's going to pay dividends this year. And like last year, I think they're going to win the division.
All right, and there you have it. Atlantic Division predictions for the season. And we go right into the Metropolitan Division, the very weak Metropolitan Division, as was showed last year. But number 8, I gotta do it. Pittsburgh Penguins.
Hmm.
They're still in a very rough spot, and I don't think the team's gotten any better. In fact, they're still trending in the wrong direction. The rest of the division's gotten better around them, so I've got them at 8.
I'm with you. Pittsburgh, last in the division. They finished in seventh last year. Only had 34 wins. They lose Mike Sullivan. So I'm gonna have them finishing eighth.
When my NHL app decides to load, that would be great. My phone has been doing some shit all year. So, there we go. All right. So, in terms of who's going to finish seventh, this is where it kind of started to get a little tricky for me, but I just think the Flyers are still in that area where they're going to finish at the bottom half of bottom quarter of the division, I should say.
Yeah, I'm with you. Again, Philly finished with 76 points last year. They were last in the division. Pittsburgh even finished ahead of them. I think the Flyers definitely did get better in the offseason. But when you compare them to the remaining six teams on the board, they are the seventh best team in the division.
Moving on to number 6, the New York Islanders. This may be a little bold, because they just got lucky in the draft lottery, got the first overall pick, but I just don't see it. After, you know, obviously there's two front runners leading the division, and we know who they are. With the way Columbus kind of took off last year unexpectedly, I think they're stuck in that sixth spot.
This
Although I wouldn't be surprised if they finish fifth.
This again for me is going to be a little bit of a shocker, much like Buffalo. They finished first in the division last year with 111 points, second most points in the NHL. I think the Washington Capitals are going to fall off an absolute cliff, and I think they're going to wind up in sixth.
Damn, so you got the Capitals falling off a cliff.
100%.
Okay.
And that's a testament to the Islanders too, and what Matthew Darsh has done building this team for this year. Because I would be inclined to agree with you. But when I look at all six teams left on that board, I think Washington is the sixth best team built right now. And sometimes you got to be bold to be right.
All right. Well, I mean, this one is probably going to piss you off because I spelled that wrong. This one's probably going to be bold and piss you off a little bit. I got the Rangers in fifth in this division because after what transpired last year, I can't put them any higher. I don't think the Capitals are going to fall off a cliff. I do think they're going to regress quite a bit, probably fall out of a division spot, but I absolutely think they're going to be in contention for a wild card spot. Because if you actually looked at the Capitals last year, they were a good hockey team. It's not like they were lucking into 110 points.
I think there were moments where they were and where they weren't. But I think they do deserve some credit, definitely.
So you got,
But where am I now? So you went Rangers five.
yeah,
For me at the fifth spot, again, really tough. They made a jump last year. I'm gonna go Columbus. Um, Again, I wouldn't be surprised if they are in contention for a wild card, but I'm just not there with the goaltending right now. So Columbus at 5.
All right. Yeah, like I just said, I had the Rangers at 5 and I got the Blue Jackets at 4 because like I said, they did surprise me last year. I honestly did think that after the horrific tragedy with Johnny Gaudreau that was gonna affect their positioning in the standings, and they outperformed what I thought they would. So I'm gonna keep them ahead of the Rangers going into this year.
For me, at the 4 spot, Shades, I'm going with the New York Islanders. I mean, Matthew Schaefer is a number one defenseman, and he is going to start the season with the team. So when you add a number one defenseman, that is something that you cannot overlook, in my opinion. And again, there's a lot of good things here. Like Ilya Sorokin, like he gets criticized, but like that's a number one goaltender. They bring in Shabanov to play with Siplikov. Maybe there's some chemistry there. I really like the trade that they made in the offseason with Noah Dobson. Emil Heineman, I think, is going to fit well on that fourth line. How do Barzell and Horvat do together? So for me, I have the Islanders making a jump. I think they're going to finish in fourth.
All right. I like to hear so we're all about being bold, and half the time we're wrong.
Mhm.
Number
Yeah.
3, I got the Washington Capitals falling back to the number 3 spot. Yeah, I mean, we literally just said everything a minute ago that we needed to say about them.
Yeah, you have the Rangers at fifth, Shades. I'm going to have them much higher, but they're not going to be picked right now. At the 3 spot, I'm going to go with the Devils. Again, they lose Jack Hughes last year, right? They lost him in the playoffs.
But yeah, they
Um,
had a bunch of injuries towards the end of last season.
they had a bunch of injuries. Again, I don't really love Sheldon Keefe as the coach.
That's
So
fair.
I could see them making a little bit of a regression this year. I do just have the Rangers at 2, and I'll say that just to say I do think that the Devils and the Rangers are going to be flip-flopping much throughout the year. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see, let's say, the Rangers with 101 points and the Devils with 99. I think they're going to be that close, but Rangers 2, Devils 3, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, see, I'm completely on the opposite side of the spectrum with the Rangers than you are. I'm a lot less optimistic because I just think that in terms of where they are, that just the multitude of bad moves that have been made are catching up to them. I think that's where they are
Yeah, I mean, just to play devil's advocate on that, I mean, I'd say that they have the best goaltender in the division by far, best starting goaltender in the division by far.
when
Uh,
he's on his game.
when he's on his game, but there's been nobody more consistent in this division than him over the last 3 years. And the defense was just absolutely awful in front of him. I think you definitely need bounce backs though from
A lot of people.
Chad and Panarin. There's no Kreider this year, Lafreniere. So definitely expecting a big year from a few guys to get them to that 2 spot. But when you combine Mike Sullivan, and I know you're not as high on Sullivan as I am, but I think he's one of the best coaches in the league still, even though he's a few years removed from his Stanley Cups. So I think the Rangers are going to make a jump. I don't think that they're going to win the division. I think that would be a little bit crazy. But again, you have to be bold. So Rangers too. And then
So
we'll
just
open
going
up.
based off of process of elimination, your
Yeah.
number 1 is my number 2, the Carolina Hurricanes. Very
Okay.
solid regular season team. Obviously, we watch them in the playoffs every year and they, fail expectations. But my number 1 to win the division is the New Jersey Devils, and that's if they stay healthy. I still go back to 2 years ago when they basically skated circles around us in round 1. And like I said, if they stay healthy, I think they'll win the division.
For me, Shades, just to give some reasoning behind Carolina, I mean, what did they need, right? They needed some speed and skill on the wing. And they bring in Nikolai Ehlers. I mean, that's outside of Mitch Marner, that's the top free agent forward that was available. I really, really like what I saw out of Logan Stankoven after he came over last year. They turned chicken shit into chicken salad when Mikko Rantanen didn't want to re-sign there, and they traded him over to Dallas to get Logan Stankoven. I know I go on and on about how great of a move that is. Keandre Miller, of course, he is a
Infamous in Rangers land.
polarizing figure, yes. But again, he's 6'5", 210. We'll see how he's able to adapt. And if there's any coach that is going to untap that potential of Keandre Miller, let me tell you, it's Rod Brindamore with the Carolina Hurricanes. The goaltending concerns me a little bit. Pyotr Kochetkov needs to take that next step. Frederik Andersen has not been able to stay healthy consistently enough. But for me, I think top to bottom, especially when you account for the Hurricanes replacing Scott Morrow, who was a fringe player on their roster with Keandre Miller, and then add Nikolai Ehlers to that forward group, and you combine Rod Brindamore as the coach, I don't know how you can look at the Hurricanes and look at the Devils and say, I think the Hurricanes or the Devils are a better team. And that's nothing against you. Of course, I respect your opinion. But for me, I think the Carolina Hurricanes are going to run away with this division. I'm not impressed by Sheldon Keefe. I don't think Jack Hughes can stay healthy for a whole season. And that's just where I'm at with them. But I do agree with you in the sense that a couple of years ago in the first round, they did skate circles around us and they did show that they can be the best team in this division if they can just stay consistent. But when I'm looking at the roster on paper, I'm taking the Canes.
All right. On to the Pacific Division. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and start it. I still think Anaheim is the worst team in that division.
Really? Okay.
Like I said, let's be bold. And I also did not really have any time to research this stuff with how busy I've been.
I got you. And we've both been busy. And, I'll say, I just, again, raise an eyebrow just because of Kreider, like they bring some legitimacy up front. I know that you're not the biggest Kreider fan, but again, it's going to help.
They also have Trouba.
It's going to help the special teams. But for me, in the eighth spot, San Jose finished 24 points behind the seventh place team last year, 52 points. So I think they're going to finish last.
Well, I got them finishing second to last because I think, dude, they're building something. They're not going to take a massive step this year, I don't think, but I think they'll take an incremental one. Look what happened with Colorado 2016 and 2017. They were
Yeah,
one of the worst teams in history to make in the playoffs. So anything
sure.
can happen.
No,
I'm not comparing the two teams by any means. Don't get that twisted.
but when you really do look at it, just real quick, like Macklin Celebrini and Will Smith, those are two really good young forwards that the Sharks have, just like at the time, right, with the Colorado Avalanche, they had Nathan McKinnon and Matt Duchene. So in the seventh spot shades, again, I'm high on Anaheim, so I'm not going to have them in this spot. I just think Seattle is the seventh best team in this division. They're just a little mid for me, to be honest, if I'm going to bring the Gen Z term out. Nothing really stands out on this roster, and I don't think they did enough in the offseason to build themselves up better than where they were last year.
Yep, and I got Seattle in six because while I do think they're still ahead of the other two teams, like you said, nothing jumps out.
For sure. And then six for me, Anaheim finished in sixth last year. Kind of like a process of elimination type of thing, right? Like there are a lot of good teams, 1 through 5 in the Pacific Division. So
Yeah.
that's to say that Anaheim is not going to be competitive this year. I just think that I can't put them above the next best team. So we're gonna have them finishing sixth.
All right, Ducks for you in six spot. Five. This may surprise you a little bit. Vancouver.
Okay.
I just think, I don't know. You know how we always like, all right, we got to see which teams are on the bubble, blah, 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 blah. I got them finishing fifth in the division because I have another Canadian team finishing in fourth. So I got Vancouver and Calgary five and fourth, respectively.
Gotcha. And I'll match you right there. I have Vancouver 4, Calgary 5. I think Calgary, one of those teams that just overachieved with the roster that they had last year. Vancouver, of course, they make a tough trade that they have to make with the way that their locker room was in trading JT Miller in the middle of the season. So, of course, that's going to take a hamper of the production offensively. So, same two teams. I just have Calgary at 5, Vancouver at 4.
All right. I'm just going to go 3-2-1 here. This is a team that probably should be winning their division year in and year out, but they just don't. Not Anna, Edmonton. Number two, LA Kings, even though that they might, I could see them finishing below two. And then number one, Vegas Golden Knights. I just think they're the best team, top to bottom in that division. And we brought his name up earlier, or at least you did, Mitch Marner.
Yeah. I'll go 3-2-1 as well here, Shades. I mean, for me, you mentioned that you could easily have the Kings at 3, and I'm going to put the Kings at 3. I think I wouldn't be surprised if there's a pretty big gap between 3 and 2 and 1. So, 2, I have Edmonton. Oilers back-to-back years with Stanley Cup final appearances, have won the Western Conference in back-to-back years. And Vegas in the number one spot. They are just consistently elite. And, last year wasn't the year, but they just went and added Mitch Marner to play with Jack Eichel. So, I totally agree with you that they're the best team in that division. So,
Well, three down, uno to go. All right, and last but not least, we have our Central Division predictions. And from what Liam just told me off air, or off recording, I should say, he said he's going to be really bold. So now I'm very interested to see this. I need to hear what your number eight team is first.
Shades, this number eight team took their playoff matchup to 7 games. Um, the St. Louis Blues are going to finish last in the division. I don't think a coaching change with Jim Montgomery fixes what's an identity crisis going on in St. Louis. How's Bennington going to do during the full season? I don't know. Jordan Kyrou being dangled through trade talks. Is the shadow of 2019 officially gone? I think it might be. They had a really nice resurgence in the second half of the year last year, so I want to give them credit. But fans should remember that St. Louis, for the first half of the season last year, to say that they would be slated for a finish seventh, sixth, I wouldn't really say eighth. I think that would be, people wouldn't really be too surprised. So I think St. Louis is more of the team that we saw in the first half of last year, more than the one that we saw in the playoffs in the second half. So eighth, bold. If I'm gonna be wrong, I want to go down in flames, Shades. So
Shot down in flames. All right. Great AC/DC song, by the way. All right. Like I said, I'm doing this literally on the fly. Have had no chance to research anything. I'm going Chicago and eight again.
fair. And again, that's why I said I was bold. Shades, I'm not gonna put Chicago at 7 either. The Nashville Predators. What's Roman Yossi going to look like? Can UC Saros carry the team alone? Trotz, is his offensive gambles in the offseason, is it going to work out? If they're not in contention, do they look to trade Forsberg at the deadline and pivot towards a retool? They might be spiraling. And that's a team that brought in Marchessault and Stamkos. And I think they're going to finish seventh, and I don't think it's going to be a lot better than it was last year.
Okay. All right. I would love to put this next team in the sixth spot, but literally every time I literally doubt this team every year and they outperform expectations. So I'm not going to put them in the sixth spot. I'm going to put them in a five spot and then work back from six. I'm going to put the Wild at five. And at number six, uh, I think you just talked me into putting the Blues at six.
All right, I'll take it. At least I'm doing some convincing here.
Even though initially I was going to put them at the three spot, but nah.
Shades, you may think that you would have seen Chicago at 6, but you're not going to see Chicago at 6.
Interesting.
At 6, the Winnipeg Jets. They lost Nikolai Ehlers. Special teams, I think, will continue to be poor. Goaltending cannot bail them out every night. We saw Connor Hellebuck take a real step back in the playoffs. Is this the beginning of the decline?
Did we though?
In the playoffs, he was awful. Against St. Louis,
True.
he was horrendous.
Against St. Louis, he was horrendous, but then he really only
He
had
bounced back. He
the one
bounced
or two bad games against Dallas.
But like I said, I'm going to be bold here. I think that the trade pieces at the deadline, I think that the Winnipeg Jets, especially with losing Nikolai Ehlers, are a bubble team right now, and they are going to burst before the end of the season, and they're going to finish in sixth and out of the playoffs in the Central.
Okay, interesting. I mean, I don't see it that way, but I mean, I'm wrong
Fair
more than
enough.
you are. So in the four spot. Oh, who's your five, by the way?
I'm not stopping with the boldness here. And
Holy
hey,
shit.
I might get ripped here. The Colorado Avalanche.
Really?
What's Val Nichushkin going to look like? How is Landeskog going to return in his first full regular season back? I think McKinnon will still dominate, and I think Cale Makar still will too. But I'm going to have them in my 5 spot.
I just I don't know. Okay. All right. Yeah, you did say you were going to be very bold.
I
So,
did. I told you. And I haven't even mentioned the $16.5 million man. I'm getting to him.
all right. I mean, I still I still like their team. So, I mean, there's obviously like one or two very questionable decisions that were made. but I just don't see that.
Fair enough.
All right, so you got Jesus, mother of God. All right.
At least I'm making it entertaining for everybody watching.
Oh, you're definitely making it entertaining for me.
You don't know what's coming next.
No, I don't. And it's I just because you said that, I know it's not going to be the fucking Blackhawks now. All right, number four, I got the Utah Mammoth.
Nice.
I think that is a very appropriate spot for them because if I still think they're ahead of the Blackhawks, sort of, in their rebuild. After what we saw with the Predators last year, just no. Blues, you kind of talked me into their worse. Watch they make the playoffs now. And I don't know. I think that's a 4 or 5 is a good spot for them. I'm gambling with 4.
Jade, you're just wrong all over the place here. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I probably will be, let's be honest.
You said that I wasn't going to put Chicago at 4, but I am going to put Chicago at 4.
The
Um,
mystery ends.
Connor Bedard, I think in his first 2 years, I wouldn't say he's been underwhelming. I think he's still a very young player. He's cracked 60 points in each of his first two
I
years in
mean,
the
look at
league.
the team around him, though. Yikes.
And look at the team around him. I think he's going to take a major next step. And I would put Connor Bedard at 86 plus points at a minimum this upcoming year. You combine Bedard with Nazar, Kevin Korchinski, Artem Levshinov. Levshinov, by the way, my favorite prospect in the NHL. Again, I know it's a big jump for the Blackhawks, but they have the pieces. And sometimes a young team comes in and surprises a division that I think could be surprised this year. And for me, that's the Central. So I'm going to have the Blackhawks in 4. They're going to be led by Connor Bedard. I think they're going to be a team that nobody wants to play. And I think they are going to just sneak into the playoffs as a wild card team.
All right. Okay. You're really throwing me off right now.
Did
Okay.
I convince you? No?
Uh, I I still think they got another year.
Fair
That's just
enough.
me. I mean, they were in deep, deep shit like 2 years ago. Like it's going to be pretty hard to justify that much of a jump in 2 years. Although 3 years though, I could see next year.
It's going
But
to hinge on Connor Bedard leading them. And, he had 67 points last year and he was a minus 36. That's obviously going to have to change. They're going to have to get much better defensively. Um, but I could see this being a year where a lot of things go right for the Hawks and they sneak in. So we'll see.
all right, my number 3, your number 6, the Winnipeg Jets. I
Mhm.
still think they have a very good team, and I still think that they're above all the other teams in the division, so I'm putting them at 3.
Really? All right, Shades. For me, at 3, everybody's sleeping on them. The Minnesota Wild. Kirill Kaprizov, $16.5 million man. I think he's going to put up an MVP type season. I'm talking 105 plus points
If he stays healthy.
if he stays healthy. Big fan of Marco Rossi. I'm happy that they were able to lock him up. Jesper Wallstedt, one of my favorite goaltending prospects. I think he's going to take over in net. I do like John Hines and what he's able to do with teams defensively. I know year after year, Minnesota is a little bit, kind of not able to make that jump. But for me, I have them third in the Central. I have them finishing with at least 100 points. I have them playoff bound. Kaprizov, if he stays healthy, is going to make a serious Hart Trophy run. And Marco Rossi finally puts it all together after he gets his bag. And I think that they're going to make the playoffs and they're going to be the number 3 seed in the Central.
Yeah, see, that's what's worrying me. Kaprizov staying healthy.
Remember, Jonas Brodin is still an elite shutdown guy on defense. Look at Brock Faber, like still extremely highly touted on the back end. So I'm a big fan of this team, man. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, we will. I
Big Soft's
mean,
going to put him on his back. That's what I'm banking on.
if he stays healthy.
Yep. If he stays healthy.
That's going to be a major asterisk. Guys missed almost a full season worth of games the last 3 years, which is why I was amazed Minnesota gave him what they gave him.
I think he's going to prove that the money is worth it.
He
So
better.
I mean, last year, I mean, you're right. He did miss his fair share of games, but still had 56 points in 41 games. The last time he played a semi-full season, 75 out of 82 games, he had 96 points. So that's why I'm saying a 110 point year, if he's able to stay healthy, it's not out of the realm of possibility. Well, actually, the last time he played a full season, 81 games, 21-22, his second year in the league, he had 108 points. But health is the big factor. I do agree with you there for sure. So,
It is a
who do you
massive
got?
factor. I'm just going to go 2-1. Number
Okay.
two, the Avalanche.
Okay.
Still think they got a solid team, and it's Nathan McKinnon, and I think Gabe Landeskog will be fine. Not gonna say he's gonna return to superstar status immediately, but he'll be fine. And number one, obviously, the only team I haven't said so far, the Dallas Stars, after the Rantanen trade last year, that you just look at the team, very, very solid top to bottom team, one of the best constructed teams in the league, and I got them finishing one.
Shades, for me, I'm going Dallas 2 in this division. And that means I have Utah
God
win
damn.
the Central this season.
I do
Here,
have Logan Cooley in fantasy. I hope he does well.
right on. I hope he does well for you too. Dallas, no
Yeah, he
doubt.
better because I picked Robert Thomas in the second round like a moron.
The Star Shades, no doubt about it. They're still elite, defensively up front and the goaltending as well. We saw the goaltending be a little bit inconsistent. Of course, Peter DeBoer is now out over there. I think we're going to see a big next step for Wyatt Johnston, maybe 80 plus point breakout for him. I think Robertson might take a little bit of a step back with all the trade rumors that he's been going through. But I have Dallas at 2. Still a very good team. But Shades at number 1.
Before you give your reasoning
Okay.
for number one, we just got sent in the group chat from Brendan. Don't want to bring up any bad memories, but he sends this.
He just brought up bad memories.
Yeah, and
Yes.
I love how we've already talked about that. But go ahead. Your
Yeah,
reasoning for
well,
the Utah Mammoth finishing number one is
let's do it. An underrated core in this league, I think, is finally going to break through. They have young talent for days, and it starts with Logan Cooley. I think Clayton Keller is going to have a 30 plus goal season. It's not just the Coyotes anymore, Shades. So I think this is the year. Logan Cooley, Dylan Gunther, they acquire a couple of big pieces in the offseason. I know the goaltender. Connor Ingram. Um, they have Ingram, right?
they
Um,
should.
I'll have to go back to that. But again, I'm being bold. I really like a young team. That barn is going to be loud after some renovations this offseason. Um, I don't know.
They do not.
Why not? Why not?
They do not have Connor Ingram. He was a salary cap retention trade. Where is he playing right now?
I think he actually went to Edmonton last week.
It would be yeah,
But the starting goaltender for the Mammoth is going to be Carl Vejmelka. Now, can you bank on Carl Vejmelka to go and win yourself a division? No,
no.
but the Avalanche won a division with Alexander Georgiev in that. So, and he's in San Jose now. And they had the worst amount of points in the league last year. Keller, I love. Cooley, I love. I think Schmaltz is a super underrated player. Mikhail Sergachev, that was a move that fell under the radar last offseason, grabbing him from Tampa Bay. Jack McBain, nobody talks about him. He's super underrated. I like the team. And I think the Central is going to take a step back. And I'm not really as high on Dallas or Colorado as a lot of other people are. But I understand that it's bold and I get it. And I know that there will be people in the comment section that are like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? But you know what? In order to get picks 1 through 8, all right, you have to be bold. And I think we're going to see some jumps from some major teams. And we're going to see some teams, go through some downturns as well. Winnipeg, St. Louis, and Nashville specifically. But I'm gonna be bold. I'm gonna say Utah goes and wins the Central, and they're gonna get a taste of playoff hockey, which is gonna be great for them.
All right. Well, I am no. I don't see it. I'm like looking over their roster. I do not see. If this team finishes first, I am gonna be insanely surprised.
I'm gonna look like the smartest man in the room when they finish in first. Telling you.
And when they don't, I'm gonna be like, I don't know why you did that.
We'll see. We'll see.
Dude, their defense core is low-key old. Like it's low-key old.
They got some nice names on there though.
They got some. I mean, Sergachev is good. Jersey's all right. I
JJ
mean,
Peterka, they're going
Marino's
to
pretty good.
fire. in the offseason, here's their defense core. I mean, Sergachev's got to be your number one guy, right? I mean, Sean Dursey, I like. Marino's been good in Pittsburgh.
I
Mata,
also don't love their goaltending tandem.
Mata is always old. Vanacek and Vamelka, the two V's. I like Vamelka personally.
I like him. I don't think he's anything special, but I think he's an average league average goalie.
Eh, yeah, 904 save percentage in 58 games last year. I think he deserves a look as a number one, at least this year.
You're second guessing yourself now, aren't you?
I don't blame you for feeling that way. I don't blame you. Just saying, but you have to be bold. And I'm not laughing because I don't have faith in my prediction. I definitely do. I'm saying it here right now. I think the Utah Mammoth are going to win the Central. Um,
You're definitely making this entertaining, all right.
Damn, I should have done this for a couple other divisions too. I think I was pretty bold having Washington go down from 1 to 6,
Yes, that's bold.
last two. So that's just where I'm at with it. We'll see how wrong I am at the end of the year. But
See how
Buffalo and
wrong I
Utah
am.
both making the playoffs. That's crazy. When was the last
Oh,
time that happened?
yeah, actually speaking of that, so I do have the Wild and the Mammoth still as the two wild card spots. That's what I think of the Pacific Division.
So we're not too far off. We both have them making the playoffs.
Not too far off. And with the Eastern Conference, I do have Blue Jackets and oh, did I really put Ottawa ahead of Tampa or Tampa ahead of Ottawa? No, that was you. That was you. Uh,
No, I think
I,
I had. Yes, I did have Ottawa. Yes.
I got yeah, okay. So I have Ottawa and Florida with a wild card spot, and I got Washington and Blue Jackets with the other one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I'm picking the Rangers to miss the playoffs after last year. I'm sorry. I've this team pissed me off to such a unique extent last year that I'm just yeah.
And you know what, Shades? I just want to put it out there. Just because it's the beginning of the season has not even started yet. Um, you don't have to do this. I want to do this. The Carolina Hurricanes will be defeating the Minnesota Wild in 5 games in this year's Stanley Cup final. Thank you.
That's bold.
Thank you.
That is, you know
Carolina
what?
doesn't have Florida to worry about anymore.
Hopefully not.
Their path to the Eastern Conference title is right there. Now, Minnesota in the West, that's a little bit different. Uh,
All
but
right, I'm gonna just go since you're giving your Stanley Cup final. I'll go Dallas out of the West. Finally.
over Vegas, man.
Yeah, yeah, Vegas has won more recently.
I
And
get
they
I,
somehow always find a way to miraculously lose outside of the year they won. So
that is true.
that like they find a way to miraculously lose.
Emphasis on the miraculous.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look at what happened with them against Montreal that one year.
Horrendous.
What a you had two terrible Stanley Cup finals in a row with Tampa winning, but I digress. And coming out of the Eastern Conference, I'll say Dallas is going to win. Uh, yeah,
You're not going to take the Devils to go to the final. Come on.
I might have to go the Hurricanes here because I was gonna say the Leafs just to see what your reaction was, but I'm just like
Oh,
I can't do it. I can't do it. I just can't do it.
I, yeah. Shades, if we get a Carolina Toronto Eastern Conference final, I just cannot envision the Maple Leafs winning. I just can't see it happening. So, and those are the two best teams in the East, in my opinion. So, if they match up, you know.
They
All
kind
right,
of are.
now, Shades, I gave my prediction for the Stanley Cup. Can I give you a batshit crazy prediction for the Stanley Cup? Like that the previous one, Canes over Wild in 5. That's my official Stanley Cup prediction.
Okay,
But
what's your dark horse prediction?
that's my dark horse prediction. I want to give you my dark horse Stanley Cup prediction. And please do not roast me when I say this. Okay? Do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
I'll go first just because I'm scared. I'll go Vegas over Toronto. That's gonna piss people off.
I was about to say that's going to piss people off because then, Marner winning a Stanley Cup on possibly on Toronto ice.
Oh, that would be great. I didn't even think about that. Anyway, what is yours?
Shades in my Stanley Cup final. After getting the number one overall pick, they make it to the Stanley Cup final and they lose to Utah. Utah over the Islanders in six. Thank you.
If that actually happens, I'll give you $100. I don't care.
Shake. Come on. All
Okay.
right.
So if all right, so let's go the
Well,
other
I'm
way
not giving
around.
it to you if it's Vegas over Toronto. That's not dark horse enough. You got to go more
That's
dark.
not dark horse enough. We're talking about the Maple Leafs here.
I'll ma
All right, $50.
I'll tell you what.
Okay. All right. 25
Okay.
if if Toronto is still in the final against
No,
I
I still get the 100, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. If
Now
it's
I have
Minnesota over Toronto, you give me 100.
no, because I'm rooting for Minnesota. I'm rooting for my prediction. I don't want to.
I don't think that they're gonna make it though. All right, how about batshit see now, but
I'm
that's not
talking crazy shades. I want crazy. $100 flat out, but
I don't all right,
you
well
gotta go off the board.
I just don't see Utah. Is Colorado's not off the board enough?
You could do one contender, one off the board pick, but they can't be two contenders, if that makes sense.
Okay, how about St. Louis?
Oh, I'll give you that.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, St. Louis and the Devils.
Done.
Okay, let me make a note of this because I am definitely gonna forget. All right, we did that on the spot. That was not planned.
That was not planned at all.
Okay, so you got
Man, I still think that's fine. That's fine. Let's go for it. Let's go, Utah. Let's go,
all right,
Mammoth.
all right.
Matthew Shaver, baby.
Blues first. That is yeah, like that's gonna happen. All right, and then Utah and who'd you pick again?
Utah over the Islanders in six.
I-
Yeah, we'll go six.
All right, I'll keep that in the on the back burner. The sad part is, out of the four teams there, I could see the Devils making it.
Yeah, hear that.
All
Uh,
right. Well, yeah, we did that. All right, that happened.
hey, man, like fans, you never know what you're gonna get
It's
out of
better than betting on the
Shades
Jets.
Pucks and Brews.
Better than betting on the Jets. Oh, I'm a Jets fan. Kill me. All right. So after all of that, we have our one team that we always come back to at the end of every episode, and that is the New York Rangers. And we do have I the Devils and okay. I'm still not over that bet. We are we have had one very important piece of news come out, and that is they named JT Miller the captain, which this is just my opinion. I thought it was slightly rushed, but I can see why they picked him. Uh, I don't I don't love it. I don't hate it. I didn't think it was necessary to do to name a captain, but that's just me. Because after watching him play last year, he literally had the facial expression of, really, I left Vancouver for this?
I hear you. 29th captain, right? In New York Rangers history,
Believe so.
JT Miller, and he's finally going to break the streak of captains to get traded. He is now a
Hopefully.
captain that got traded previously, then came back to the team and then became captain. So at least that's a good start for JT. He's a fierce player. He's a physical player. He's somebody who cares out there on the ice. I think last year, I think there was major disconnect in several areas when it came to the Rangers. So when I allude to your point, right, of JT Miller having the look on his face of really, I left Vancouver for this. I think that was accurate for last season specifically because that's where the Rangers are at. But this is a new leaf. This is a new roster. We traded Chris Kreider away. I think everybody in that room understands that what happened last year is unacceptable. Mike Sullivan is in there, a new voice in the room to go along with JT Miller. Remember, Mike Sullivan coached JT Miller in Pittsburgh before he got traded over to Vancouver initially. So I personally like
Oh
it.
my God, I forgot about that.
I think you could have gone Trocheck in this role. I don't think Fox was ready. Obviously, Lafreniere had not taken that next step. Gavrikov is new to the team. Panarin with his sexual assault allegations last year, like there's a lot up in the air. So I think when you look at this roster and when you look at every single player and what age they are and their NHL experience and what they bring to the table coming into this year, I think JT Miller makes the most sense for captain.
It
I
was
think Trocheck would have made sense too. Um,
Miller was on the Lightning, not the Penguins.
was he? He was not on the Penguins. Oh, excuse me. My mistake.
Yeah, that
But
threw me out. That threw me off.
maybe I just missed that. But yes, no, he was on the Lightning, not the Penguins. So excuse me, my mistake. But so no familiarity between the coach and the captain. But now there will be, at least during training camp. But I still like JT Miller. I still like the player. You know, had 35 points after the trade last year in 32 games. So while his facial expression may have told one story, his production told another. And I think he's going to help unlock, some offensive production for Mika Zibanejad too, with JT playing in the middle and Mika, able to slide over to the wing and have a little bit less responsibility, and focus more on that goal scoring prowess that we know he's so good at. So
Here's a funny, interesting thing. His goals for percentage, while his production with the Rangers was better than his production with the Canucks, his goals for percentage went down.
gotcha.
Interesting. All right. I mean, that doesn't mean anything. I just thought it would have been a little bit higher because of he was literally the only one producing at one point, but that's, neat little tidbit right there. They also announced the Centennial jerseys, and I it's a cool shoulder patch with a lazy rest of the jersey design. That's just me.
Yeah. Um, I like it depending on what the official fit is. So what they're wearing on the bottom, what the pants look like. It's not a jersey that I'm running to the MSG shop online to go buy. So I'll
Same.
say that.
Yeah, same. Although if they do the beige, pants, that would look pretty good.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. Then again, that was your opinion, and I was just like, all right, yeah, now I can see that. But jersey itself, that doesn't do it for me.
Me neither.
All right. So before we get into the last little thing, I want to talk about the preseason, aka I want to get your thoughts on the preseason because you were actually able to watch and I wasn't freaking home. Uh, how were your thoughts on the prospects of Brett Berard, Noah Laba? It is Laba, right?
Nah, but yep.
Yeah, I thought it was Laba this whole time. Noah Laba and Gabriel Perreault.
I haven't been able to watch too much, to be honest, because every single Rangers game is on NHL Network. And if you have ESPN Plus to watch hockey, any games that are on NHL Network, you are unable to watch. Um, so I was able to watch just one, and that was the game against the Devils last week. But I can touch on some of the prospects. Obviously, Berard last year, like I'm a big fan of the kid, and he's still early in his NHL career. It's actually interesting that we're recording right now because the Rangers actually have a decision to make. They have to do one of three things. They have to either send Noah Laba or Brett Berard down to Hartford or release Connor Sheary from his PTO. So we'll see which direction they go. Big fan of Berard. Even if he doesn't make the team out of camp, I still think he's going to be a midseason call-up for sure. Noah Laba, again, a player played in the USHL with the Lincoln Stars, got his first taste of American Hockey League play last season with Hartford. This should be your 3C. Like, no offense to Juuso Parssinen, but Juuso Parssinen should not make this team over Noah Lala, in my opinion.
Yeah, we've
So
we've seen some bad decisions out of camp the last couple of years.
He's earned this spot out of training camp. Like this is a classic case of a player coming in that wasn't expected to do much, that has turned heads in quite literally every single game he has played. So how do you not put a player like that on your roster? That's my thing. Um, just so I can touch on a couple of the veteran shades. I mean, I don't know how much better Zibanejad looks. I think he needs to play consistently with Miller, before we make a determination on that. I like Sheary, going back to that decision on sending one of those three players down, gun to my head, I probably send Berard down, and keep Sheary and sign him for the year, and keep Laba up too. Perot gets sent down. Othman disappointing. Um, you know, Johnny Brodzinski's still on the roster. Some fans have raised their eyebrows about that, but I've always liked Brodzinski. Um,
It's a
defense,
cardio machine.
yeah, defense. Scott Morrow, I believe he got sent down as well.
Yeah.
So
Which I didn't hate that decision.
I didn't hate it either. Get him
Yeah.
some AHL games.
Yeah. I mean, there's no reason to rush him onto the roster right now.
Yeah. But besides that, that's really where I'm at. And if I could just give you just an overall, just kind of outlook for the Rangers, this year.
All right. So that will literally bring us into our final point of what are your realistic expectations for the team this season?
There you go. Do you want to touch on training? Well, you can't touch on training camp. You haven't been able to
I
watch
literally
it.
I did not watch. I was not home.
Gotcha. But realistic expectations for the Rangers. I mean, last year, I mean, they missed the playoffs and they just absolutely collapsed, right? I mean, Peter Laviolette's structured low event hockey just couldn't save them when the offense dried up. And I just think the whole room just wasn't engaged from the beginning of the season. And what a shame in Sam's last year, right? Panarin, typical regular season points, vanishes when it matters. Zibanejad looks slow and old. Kreider looked so bad that you had to trade him in the offseason. Shesterkin, probably human. Save percentage was back below 920. But I think when you look at last year, I think everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. And just because that was the narrative last season doesn't mean that's the narrative this upcoming season.
See,
But
it's actually kind of funny because I thought after Shesterkin picked up his game last season, they started to lose more.
mhm, I
That
agree.
just an observation from watching last season, which that's troubling.
I think they were awful in every single sense. All three zones, awful. And I don't think they're a contender trying to get over the hump anymore, to be honest, which is what we were over the last 2 years.
Well,
I
I didn't think they were, but
I think we're a team now trying to avoid sliding into a mediocre pit of teams.
I think this team is literally they have two elite players, one who injuries kind of dropped him down out of the elite category, and a good goalie with a team full of question marks and just straight up bad roster decisions.
How I would describe it is veterans still producing on paper, but no longer driving winning.
Yeah, it feels hollow, right?
It feels hollow right now. But I'll get into a couple more of the negatives, then I'll get into the positives. Alexi Lafreniere,
Needs to take a step.
is he going to level up, or is he a 55 to 60 point player?
He needs to step it up.
And not to say that being a 55 to 60 point player is a bad thing, but
As a number one overall forward pick, that's disappointing.
um, you know, Schneider, I like a lot, but how much of a difference maker is he? Um, Fox,
Just to clarify, we still have Susi and Borgen on this roster and Vakanainen. And as of right now, Matthew Robertson is our seventh D. So the D is not exactly in a good spot even after signing Gavrikov.
yeah, I think Fox has been looking for that partner, and he finally has that in Gavrikov. I like Borgen more than you do, and I like Susi more than you do. Vakanainen, I think he's more of a seventh D. But I still do think that there's a need for another high-end offensive defenseman or two-way defenseman. Um,
Two-way, absolutely.
so Othman and Perot, maybe they'll be impact players in 2 years, but not right now. Energy guys like Berard and Sikora not making the team out of camp. Um, Sullivan, if I do think that there is a stronger connection between the front office and the head coach now. Sullivan and Drury, of course, have years of experience together, at the junior level. So realistic expectations, and I know where did I put them? I put them at two.
You did, in fact, put them at, that's not the note that I had. You did put them at, Jesus Christ, come on, Mike. Two.
I think realistic is third or fourth. To be honest, I think two is definitely a little bit of a reach, but again, like I said, this whole episode, you have to be bold. I think making the playoffs, I think they're 60-40 in favor of making the playoffs to start the season. That's where I'd put them. Best case scenario, third place in the division, upset the number two team in the first round, and then maybe see what you're able to do with, maybe the Panthers, who don't have their high-end guys, and, the Maple Leafs who don't have Mitch Marner anymore, and the Hurricanes who you've been able to play really well against in years past. So I think their ceiling is Eastern Conference Final. Finish third, surprise in both rounds. Worst case scenario, I think the Stars fade even more. I don't think Sullivan will get fired, but I do think that there is a possibility that this team could be in sixth by the end of the year. But
I,
officially, I'm going to say third. Well, I predicted second, but realistic, I'm going to say third and 97 points.
well, remember, I had them finishing fifth, and I do think that is a little more realistic than them possibly finishing second. Like I said, because I think as of where they are right now, as of where they were end of last season, they're going to be a bubble team. And, they finished, I looked this up earlier, they finished 26 points behind Washington last year. Do I think that's going to happen again? Probably not, because I think, like I said earlier, Washington's going to fall off. But the Blue Jackets came ahead of us at the end of the season. You never know with the number one overall pick, doing a morale boost in the locker room and talent-wise on the ice for the Islanders, but I don't know. It's like the Devils and the Hurricanes are, in my opinion, the top two teams, and 3 to 5, possibly even 3 to 6, because there's always that one team that will always come out of nowhere and finish like 12 slots in the standings higher than they should. And that could arguably be one of the teams in this division.
You want to be real about the Rangers last year? Be 100% real.
They
And
stunk.
I love this team with all my heart, and I know you do too. They didn't hit.
Yeah, they were soft.
They didn't skate. They didn't score at five
They
on
were
five.
they were slow. They were terrible 5-on-5 team.
The power play was awful. They
Pretty
did
much.
not. They did not intimidate,
No.
even when Matt Rempe was on the ice. They don't respond when getting punched, and all of those things need to change this upcoming year. So that's why there's a big, big responsibility on JT Miller's shoulders, and I believe in them. And I think that they're going to do it. And they've changed up the roster, traded Kreider, traded Truba. It's time to see something different out of this core and not the same old, same old.
Yep.
And I love them. And
I
I hope
can't
they host the Stanley Cup, maybe.
I can't put it any better than that. It's just after last year, I can't do it. I just can't do it. And that is our season predictions and realistic expectations for the Rangers. I mean, I really don't have anything else to say. We kind of said all we needed to. I mean, Kirill Kaprizov's getting paid 17 million. I wish I was, but that's not happening anytime soon.
Yeah. Maybe if you win the lottery. If I win the
That'd be
lottery.
nice. That would be nice. I would also disappear.
I'll just say it right now, Shades. I don't play the lotto too much, but if I win the lotto anytime within the next month,
You're taking me out to dinner.
no, I was about to say I'll give you 25%.
And
But
then I'll be like, I promise I'm putting this in either in the bank or investing it and not gambling it.
I know if you would gamble at Shades, you would gamble maybe
In
a
$5
dollar
increments.
50 of it. Yeah. But before we end the episode, I do want to give a quick shout out to the number one overall draft pick for this upcoming NHL draft, Gavin McKenna, who did score his first collegiate goal last night against Arizona State for Penn State men's hockey. It was the game winner on the power play. He did the works down, which I thought was pretty cool. Um, so Gavin McKenna. He's gonna be pretty good. And if the Rangers, they're in last place,
Please
we
pick him if
it
they win
just
the lottery.
it was hilarious when Boston beat us in the last game of the preseason. I just went to Twitter and I went to all the comments and just like nobody was pissed off or anything. It was just McKenna, McKenna,
Hmm.
McKenna. McKenna. Like Ranger fans might fall into that if things go downhill early. But congratulations to Gavin, first of many. So
Yeah, he's kid's gonna be a big deal next year.
generational for sure.
And we thought, actually, no, that I did not think that's what we were getting in Lafreniere. I was hoping and praying he would be average.
You know, at the ECHL level, I've always been impressed with players from the Q. And of course, that's where Lafreniere came from with Rimouski Oceanic and Sidney Crosby played in Rimouski. And maybe this is the year. It took Nathan McKinnon some time to find it. I'm not
Slightly,
saying
a little bit.
Lafreniere is Nathan McKinnon, but I think Lafreniere is better than a 65-point player. That's what I'll say.
Fingers crossed.
I hope and Noah Laba make the team.
Oh, this was episode 79, by the way.
It's the Keandre Miller episode.
And we just traded his ass for a haul.
We'll take that first round pick. Thank you very much.
Yeah, pretty much. That's, hope they actually draft somebody with it.
Of note, just since we're on the topic, it did come out. Obviously, this trade didn't happen, so not too big of a deal. But Calgary was also in discussions with the Rangers on a Keandre Miller trade,
Hmm.
according to Elliot Friedman, before Carolina directly told Chris Drury that they were going to threaten with an offer sheet. So just interesting that Calgary was in on Keandre too. Um,
Hmm.
this is
Interesting.
an interesting outro.
Very interesting. And to make things even more interesting, I have to go run like 2.5 hours right now and hopefully try and do 18 miles in 76% humidity. So killed me.
Bring your water bottle, man, and a
Oh,
towel.
I am, and I'm leaving a backup one by the door because I will be coming back into the house to grab it.
That's a seasoned vet.
Yeah, God. This humidity and this weather better go the fuck away. It's October. It was 80 earlier.
It's been yeah, it's been interesting weather for sure.
Yeah, that's putting it lightly. I hate New York weather.
You could just do what I did and move.
I don't have money like that.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, at least you still got your sports teams. Well, at least you can
I'm,
go see the at least you can go see the Rangers. I can't. I mean, I guess I can.
I'd rather just watch on my couch at this point. Tickets are too expensive.
I know. Just for shits and giggles, when the Rangers did their little ticket promo for opening night against the Penguins, like I was like, yeah, let's see how much MSG is charging. Opening night, 279 a piece to sit in the upper deck, man. Like
A couch is right there. Even it's not actually in this room, but it's downstairs. I'll take that.
couch, beer that doesn't cost $20. You don't have to walk through
Get
thousands.
some popcorn.
Yeah.
You're having yourself a good night. And then you get frustrated watching them play.
That's why hockey fans need to realize that minor league hockey is actually where it's at. When you're
Shout
going
out Syracuse Crunch, even though they're not the Rangers affiliate, been to a bunch of their games.
Yeah, shout out Syracuse. But go see some FPHL hockey. That's where I'll be calling games this season. Columbus River Dragons. We open up Friday night in Florence, South Carolina against the PD Ice Cats. It's going to be a lot of fun. Got to call my first game last night. Um,
Nice.
it went well. There was no names or numbers on the back of the jerseys, though.
That's oof.
And I was calling the game right at ice level. So I was okay on this side of the ice. Once we got to the other side of the ice, it was a little bit of an adventure, but you know,
And they really threw you to the wolves on that one, didn't they?
that's okay. It happens.
Yeah, you know what you're doing.
It was a little scrimmage. First period was a little rough because I was endearing myself to the fan base, right? First time that they're able to hear me. But second and third, I just realized I actually went outside and I told myself, why do I do this? And I answered with to have fun. So I went in there and I sat in that chair, and for the final 30 minutes of the game, yes, two 15-minute periods, I had fun. And it was really amazing. And that's a great piece of advice. Be yourself, and in whatever you do, have fun and enjoy the wonderful game of hockey. FPHL, SPHL, collegiate level, ECHL, AHL, NHL, EIHL. It does not matter. Go watch some hockey. That's my last message to the youth. Best sport you're not watching.
Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. This has been Pucks and Brews. I have been your host, Michael Shades Farasino, alongside Liam, the Shellmaster Godimer. I hope the Rangers don't suck.